Single-player experiences are the perfect way to play games at your own pace. None of this faffing about trying to organize friends to play with, nah. Whether you choose to go off on a grand romp spanning hundreds of hours, or you're after those shorter, more intimate adventures, the choice to pick up and play is yours. Ahoy folks, Craig signing in for Pure Xbox, and here are 25 of the most exciting single-player games still to come to Xbox in 2023. Is there anything worse than finding sand in places it shouldn't be hours after returning from the beach? Well, I suppose the oppression of corrupted gods in Atlas Fallen could, be worse? This single player, with the option for two-player co-op from Deck 13, looks visually quite impressive. The character design almost reminds me of those chunky Darksiders chaps. Atlas Fallen is a large sand-covered open world full of big beasties for you to slay with your shape-shifting sand-powered weapons and abilities. Every kill grants you a bit of essence with which you can customize your playstyle. I suppose it'll be up to you to free humanity from the corrupted gods on August 10th. Oh look, it's our boy Darren Barner, aka Paxton Hall-Yoshida, from the now cancelled hit Netflix series Never Have I Ever. August 22nd sounds like a good day to join the Order of the Immortals to protect the realm and save the day now, doesn't it? That it does. Immortals of Aveum is a fast-paced magical FPS that trades the bullet gun pew-pews for three forces of offensive and defensive magic. Get stuck into a frankly quite gorgeous magical Everwar to decide the fate of Aveum. With 25 spells, 80 talent abilities, and hundreds of gear pieces, it looks like there's plenty of customization and combo opportunities to keep things fun and fresh. Imagine throwing a baby shower and the Pentanim one rocks up. Well, that's not exactly the case in Blasphemous 2. I just read the summary and it said something about the miracle birthing a miracle child, and now this penitent chap is bleeding and stabbing people. Not ideal, but anywho, August 24th for this one. Blasphemous 2 continues the story from the Wounds of Eventide DLC, and will of course feature a perilous new world brimming with monstrous foes and twisted bosses for you to brutalize once again. Which reminds me that I should really go back and finish the original. I want to play this. August 25th can't come soon enough. Armored Core 6 Fires a Rubicon isn't the next Souls game by any means, but From Software clearly knows what it's doing. The 6th core of Armor is serving high-speed action that stays true to the classic mech combat from the 90s and noughties, but refreshed to a modern standard. The story takes place on the remote planet of Rubicon 3, home to a mysterious substance which ignites a fight for control. You will play as an independent mercenary to navigate dangerous conflicts between alien corporations and resistance groups, all whilst trying to figure out the secrets of the mysterious substance. The combat looks super fast-paced, zippy fun, and I'm sure we'll suffer a death or two at the hands of some spectacular boss battles. Grab your flippy floppies and snorkel suit August 29th and experience the narrative-driven adventure Under the Waves. Set in a techno-futuristic 1970s North Sea, a professional diver, Stan the deep-sea diving man, struggles with grief after a life-changing loss. So, Stan the deep-sea diving man does what any deep-sea diving man does and deep-sea dives himself into an isolated underwater timeout sesh. However, something strange happens which forces our sad boy to explore the wrecks, caves, and submerged landscapes of the deep sea on a journey to define one's very, very old existence. Ooh, sounds like a deep game to me. If you're an eager bean like me and pre-ordered one of the fancy editions of Starfield for that sweet 5 days early access, then strap in because Xbox's biggest game of the year is out September 1st. Or instead September 6th for the probably more money sensible beans out there. Of course, we're biting at the bit for a romp across the stars, but if you're unfamiliar with Bethesda's first new universe in 25 years, then here's the pitch. Starfield is set in the year 2330. Players will explore the solar system as part of Constellation, a group of space explorers. With deeply customizable character, background, and traits at your disposal, Starfield is looking like an RPG dream come true. Although Todd Howard confirmed that you can't fish in the game right now, there's like 1,000 odd planets to explore, several huge cities to get stuck into, and a ship creator that seems to be ridiculously deep and customizable too. Oofed! I know we here at Pure Xbox are ready to live our best space pirate life. Pinocchio may not be a real boy, but damn does that puppet guy chap have a luscious head of hair. Oh, I reckon I need to ask him his hair care routine, although seeing as though this is Lies of P, he'd probably just spin me a fib or two, so probably not worth it. Geppetto's Wonder Boy is back in an action-adventure spin on the classic tale. This time around, P is awakened by a mysterious voice and must navigate their way through a plagued city, facing grim monsters in Souls-like gameplay. The game involves punishing combat, weapon crafting, and plenty of untrustworthy NPCs, and whether you choose to speak the truth or weave lies in each narrative confrontation, that's all up to you, as each decision has its own consequences. What are you gonna do? Hey, do you remember when CD Projekt Red claimed that Cyberpunk's original launch wasn't that bad, and it simply became cool to criticize the miserable state of the game? Especially on consoles, like sheesh. But anywho, credit where credit is due, because Cyberpunk today is an absolute joy to play. And it's soon to be even better when Phantom Liberty drops September 26th. V is back for the spy-themed expansion that will see players embark on a high-stakes mission to save the president of the new United States. With a whole new district of Dogtown to explore, as well as a new skill tree, weapons, and cyberware to get stuck into, the high-risk game of espionage sounds like a pretty damn good time. I know I'm excited. One to watch this September is COCOON, a unique puzzle adventure experience from the lead gameplay designer behind Playdead's Limbo and Inside, two of my most favorite puzzle platformers. The gameplay loop on offer here is one of mind-bending proportions. Collect orbs and travel between worlds, mastering world-leaping mechanics to solve intricate puzzles. The art direction here is pretty darned gorgeous, with plenty of diverse biomes littered with a mix of alien machinery and remnants of an ancient civilization. Players will unlock new abilities and tools by completing each orb-based puzzle, then use these new tricks to face off against fierce guardians. Our big tin can part man all cop icon, Mr. Robocop, has a fresh new game on the way. Of course, the streets of old Detroit are rife with good old-fashioned crime. Urgh, what are we gonna do, eh? Well, we'll send in the machine hero with his Auto 9 to blast justified death sentences one crutch shot at a time until the eradication of criminals is complete. I'll admit I'm a little skeptical on how Robocop Rogue City will actually play, but from what we can see, it looks like a heavier, slower-paced hoot of a time. Rogue City will feature an original story which takes place between Robocop 2 and 3, so we're likely to see some iconic locations and meet familiar faces. Also, I was very pleased to hear that the original actor, Peter Weller, will be the voice of the Cybercop once again. Now, I'm sure you're thinking Forza Motorsport is not strictly a single-player game, and you're right, it's technically not, but I literally play most car games on my own, especially considering the next installment in Motorsport is being described as a car PG. It's screaming Solo Me vibes. The always visually spectacular racing experience offers a whole new Builders Cup career mode, where players look to outbuild their competition by earning performance upgrades against AI opponents. There's plenty of cars too, over 500 in fact, which is 499 more than I own, so I'd say that's pretty impressive. Apparently, Assassin's Creed Mirage is trimming the fat a bit because it's apparently beatable in roughly 20 to 23 hours, which is way shorter than Valhalla's supposed 91 hours. Who even has 91 hours in a day? I don't. Do you? Well, that's good news for me because on October 12th, we will see Basim, the street-smart thief turned fingerless assassin, roam the city of Baghdad, mastering parkour and an arsenal of deadly murder tools to take the lives of the unjust. Meet and sometimes murder a cast of historical figures who will help define Basim on his journey to Alamut, the home and foundation of the legendary assassins that just started it all. Lords of the Fallen looks great. I mean, it looks dark and disturbing, but still great. Launching October 13th is a dark fantasy action RPG with good old-fashioned Souls-like gameplay. We seem to love Souls games now, don't we? I guess we're all just a fan of emotional stress and torture. Play as a Dark Crusader on an almighty quest to overthrow the big bad demon god. As you'd expect with a game like this, you'll be able to customize your character, choose from 9 character classes, upgrade stats, weapons, armor, and spells to build your best Crusader. Travel between the land of the living and dead realms in something that looks quite interesting here, in addition to the challenging combat loop we've come to love. Face off against horrid bosses, immerse yourself in a morbid story, and make a choice between light and dark. All good stuff, really. Alan, wake up! You've got a sequel, mate. Alan Wake 2 is not long away now, not at all. October 17th brings us right back into the supernatural words of a best-selling author living in his own darkness. Alan Wake 2 will feature 2 separate realities connected to one another, each with their own hero caught up in the middle. On one hand, we'll rejoin Alan Wake, trapped in the dark place, a nightmarish reality under Cauldron Lake. And the other will introduce us to Saga Anderson, an FBI agent investigating the ritualistic murders taking place in Bright Falls. Apparently, the sequel will be a standalone experience for newcomers to join in with, but I do highly recommend that anyone unfamiliar with the series play the original, not the remastered original, the proper 360 original. And I really hope that the fictional heavy metal band, the Old Gods of Asgard, return for the sequel because they had some serious hits. Villanelle and Hopper, or Jodie Comer and David Harbour, star in a reimagined Alone in the Dark effort from Pieces Interactive. Besides the A-list acting talent on offer, it's just great to see Alone in the Dark in 2023. This time around, players are given the choice to control either Edward Carnby or Emily Hartwood to explore Dursito Manor, a home for the mentally fatigued, but also some pretty messed up monsters too. Expect a new spin on a narrative that pays homage to the original 1992 release, featuring combat, puzzles, exploration, and that whole spooky horror vibes that we love from the Alone in the Dark franchise. Oh, and I only just forgot to mention that Alone in the Dark comes out October 25th. Antea and Red were ghost hunting before it was cool, back when sniffing out the paranormal was genuinely dangerous and not just for TV. Probably because it was 1695 and, you know, no telly. Anywho, the duo are Banishers, committed to protecting the living from lingering ghosts. And all was good until Antea pulled the old switching sides move and joined Team Casper. Looks like November 7th will be the day we play as New Spirit Antea and Warm Body Red to keep the Banisher dream alive, solving haunting cases in the lore-rich world of New Eden. Master magic, weapons, and spiritual powers in the fight against the supernatural on a desperate journey to free Antea of her newfound plight. The more I see of Persona 5 Tactica, the more excited I get. Pop November 17th in your calendar as the day we reunite with the Phantom Thieves in an all-new tactical twist on the series. Joker and co find themselves in a bizarre realm oppressed by Legionnaire's military group. Things look dire until a fresh-faced revolutionary rescues them, offering a deal in exchange for their help. Tactica features a whole new story with returning fan faves, new friends, and also foes. Looks like we're going to engage in some slick turn-based combat with unique abilities and, of course, the help of powerful personas. Now, I'm a tactics boy, so my body is ready for this game to hit Game Pass in November. Looks like everyone's a bit blue in this next one, and by blue I don't mean sad. No, they're actually tall folk called Na'vi because, you know, this is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Although they probably still feel a bit blue considering the RDA abducted them and destroyed their lands. Reconnect with the wonder of an open world Pandora December 7th to explore the dangers of the Western frontier. Built in the Snowdrop engine, the same used in the Division 2 and upcoming Star Wars Outlaws, Ubisoft is looking to see how their engine can cope with the massive scale of Pandora this time around. Master a mix of human and Na'vi weapons and upgrades to fight the good fight and protect the land against the RDA. Whilst I'm not fully convinced we'll see Stalker 2 Heart of Chornobyl launch in 2023, the game is still technically slated for this year. So, you know, I'm holding out hope. Stalker 2 is a first-person shooter mixed with an immersive survival sim, non-linear storytelling, and is all wrapped up in this gritty horror vibe, set in the post-apocalyptic wastes of Chernobyl. Players will venture into the exclusion zone, which is home to hostile human enemies, dangerous mutants, deadly anomalies, and a sinister mystery to uncover. If it does see a delay to 2024, say, I'm sure we'll be sad about it, but it looks really interesting so far, and if it needs a little bit more time to cook, then let it cook. I've said this many times, but Replaced is genuinely one of the best looking games coming out this year. The 2.5D sci-fi retro-futuristic alternative take on 1980s America is a sight to behold. Replaced is this action platformer that tells the story of an artificial intelligence trapped within a human body against its own will. Expect a cinematic dystopian story full of corruption and greed in a world where humans and their organs are seen as mere currency. Pretty bleak if you ask me. If we all believe Hollow Knight's Silksong will release in 2023 and manifest it together like Goku's Spirit Bomb, then maybe, just maybe, Team Cherry will spill a release date soon. Ooh, fingers crossed. Silksong follows the adventure of Hornet, Princess Protector of Hollow Nest, who finds herself all alone in a vast, unfamiliar world. Now, our lethal hunter queen-to-be must ascend on a deadly pilgrimage to the kingdom's peak. Along the way, Hornet will battle foes, forge new friendships, and solve ancient mysteries whilst mastering Hollow Knight's challenging traversal and combat abilities. Now, I remember the first time I saw a Hollow Knight game and the art style blew me away, so if this is the first time seeing it, then look how pretty it looks. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 looks utterly stunning, and I swear Warhammer just constantly churns out good-looking games. Now, Space Marine 2 can be played in 3-player co-op with the option to go it alone in single player, and whichever way you play, I reckon it'll be sublime, which, you know, is why I kept it in this single player list, but I'll be honest, I'll accept criticism on this one. In any case, you will embody the superhuman brutality of a space marine, fighting against the relentless Tyranid hordes to make things bleed and save the galaxy. Unleash deadly abilities and gnarly weaponry, perhaps insult your victims whilst you murder them. You know, classic space marine stuff. At the end of the day, this looks badass, and I genuinely can't wait. Lots of upward traversal to be had in the action puzzle climbing game Jusant. As stressful as scaling an ever-changing tower of gigantic proportions may seem, Jusant gives off a relaxing, play-at-your-own-pace sort of energy. The gorgeous range of flora and fauna that inhabit the different biomes you'll scale provide a sense of relaxation and peacefulness. Although it's not all sunshine and rainbows, you'll still need to master your climbing tools and manage your stamina gauge if you hope to reach the summit, in addition to the wet and windy weather conditions that may cause a stumble here and there. And if things do get a little bit hairy and stressful, then just give Ballast, your little watery companion dog thing, a cuddle and I'm sure you'll be just fine. Ghostrunner 2 is a highly anticipated hardcore first-person slasher game set in a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk future. Much like we experienced in the original, players will dive into fast-paced action, spectacular boss battles, and a deeper dive into the world beyond the Dharma Tower. Plop yourself into the biker boots of a cyber ninja for some hardcore motorbike combat sequences flooded with enemies to murder. Whilst you'll learn new skills and techniques for traversal, you should expect to die a lot. It's just that sort of game. And oddly, you can die 5,000 times and Ghostrunner is still a weirdly relaxing time. Plucked straight from the pages of our favorite fantasy storybooks is the magical adventure of Jot, a plucking squire. The Plucky Squire. Yes, that's better. As it typically goes in most children's books, the hero beats the big bad and saves the day. But not this time. Malevolent Hum Grump, the villain of Jot's adventure, is tired of losing, so instead decides to boot Jot right out of the book, changing the story forever. Our plucky pal must jump between the 2D and 3D worlds in a charming puzzle platform adventure, sure to return us old fogies back to the magic of being young and full of imagination and general hope for the world. Oy, I'm starting to sound like that Hum Grump guy. If you liked this video, be sure to leave a like. If you didn't, then don't. That's okay too. Be sure to head on over to purexbox.com for all the latest Xbox news, reviews, and updates, as well as subscribing to the channel here. As always, thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now. Cheerio!